I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. There was a comment today from Starchild333. Hi, so nice to meet you. And the comment read, Kim, what happens when they die? You know, we've never talked about this, and I want to talk about this today. Coincidentally, I've spoken to several people lately who have lost a narc to death. Some were parents, some were siblings, and a few were spouses or love interests. Now, I will say that this, in most cases, ends quite disappointingly for the victims, and I think that's because most normal, sane people would assume, just assume that when someone was on their deathbed, that they would kind of make a human connection, perhaps, become apologetic, become enlightened to their evil ways, feel remorse. But no, this is not at all what I'm hearing. Now, typically, as a narc grows older, the passing of time does not generate in them a feeling of enlightenment, of human connection, of empathy. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Over time, they just get better and better at deceiving people. They become more skilled at lying, cheating, stealing, creating chaos, inflicting their insanity and madness on people. They get better at it. Another thing that happens to them in time is, of course, they burn bridges. They lose a lot of people that have been, passing through their life. And quite often, as they get older, especially if they've been looking for love interest supply, it gets harder and harder for them to trap new victims as they get older. So they tend to become more frenzied, more frantic, more desperate to get supply, to trap a new victim. And another thing that I hear over and over again is that they now don't feel like they've got the time to waste with a huge effort being put to idealization and love bombing, where they'll kind of breeze through that really fast, getting to the good stuff, which to them, of course, is the devaluing and ensuing misery it causes for their targets. So they tend to be a bit more hasty in moving, quickly towards, inflicting evil, harm, and damage on people. They don't have the patience that they once had. Regardless of who the narc is in your life, be it a love interest, a sibling, a parent, a close friend, as they get older, they get worse. They get much, much worse. Now, I said they get better at their skills, but that means they're getting worse, and time isn't working with them. Now, one thing that seems to be really common amongst them is as they get older, they reach out to church groups. They join church groups, not because they've found God, but because, well, they are genuinely afraid that they're going to go to hell. So the one thing that I also hear is they don't do well in a church setting. Like they'll try to go or go a few times, but I guess kind of come to realize that though they've been faking their way through life, they may not be able to put the mask on, to get a passage into heaven. So they will quite often join a church and then kind of retreat, believing it's possibly futile for them. They don't join church groups because they want God to forgive them or they want to be forgiven by all the people that they've harmed. It is absolutely a selfish, self-serving move in a desperate attempt to avoid what they've come to believe is their karma. I think for many people, if you were victimized by a love interest, someone that you believe you're in a loving relationship with, typically people's eyes open, they run away, or they've come to understand what their partner is. and typically take a I don't give a shit kind of attitude anymore. They seem to go kind of numb to the narcissist over long, long periods of time, especially if you've been married like 20, 30 kind of years. People sort of shut down emotionally. So the death of a narcissist is in many cases a relief, like a gift. Where when it's apparent, I think most people would expect at the end of a person's life, they would have a change of heart and say they were sorry and validate the victim for all the abuse inflicted on them. But I'm hearing actually the extreme opposite of that. I've heard stories, and they're all the same, of parents in their deathbed, a narcissistic parent who from their deathbed is still controlling and manipulating the family, starting civil rivalries and fights amongst siblings, really orchestrating the chaos now from more of a horizontal kind of position in their deathbed. It doesn't stop or let up at all. In fact, there seems to be evidence that they know they're passing on, and they are going to do everything in their power to leave the biggest shit show possible when they go, with absolutely no apologies, no validation, no remorse, no compassion or consideration for the people they've harmed, not even so much as a maybe I could have done better. Nothing, absolutely nothing. They depart from everyone I've talked to so far with a very smug attitude, like you deserved everything I gave you. And by the way, I was the victim. They will maintain their victimhood right into the bitter end, till their last breath. Any help or assistance that you decide to provide to a dying narcissist is never going to be met with any gratitude or appreciation. In fact, they will just put you through the ringer during this entire period. You will be again sacrificing a huge portion of your life for them, and they will be crapping all over you. They get worse with age, and there never seems to be a wake-up moment, a time on their deathbed where a light goes on and they become aware of what they've done. Absolutely not. They will continue the charade, the cruelty, the infliction of harm until their dying breath. And that I've heard over and over again. Now, I did a little research on it, but very quickly realized that what I was hearing from friends here at the channel is exactly what all research shows. For people that were raised by a narcissist, my heart is breaking for you. I can't imagine how painful that is to spend your entire life being treated abusively, being the scapegoat, being the person responsible for all the shortcomings, chaos, and problems within the family, because certainly you would have been blamed for all of it. And I guess it would be nice to think at the end of this horrible person's life, they came to understand what they'd done to you and at the very least apologize. But I'm afraid if that's what you're hoping for, you might want to approach that realistically, because I don't think it's coming. I don't think that moment where you are validated and apologized to is ever going to show up. In fact, I think after they pass, you're going to find that they smear campaign the hell out of you and put the wheels in motion to set a type of sibling rivalry in action, or have caused other weird dimensions in the family after their passing that will continue to cause problems and chaos for many years after they're gone. Now, for any of you that have experienced the passing away of a narcissist in your life, please leave a comment so we can better understand this together. I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. I hope you guys are having a great narc-free day.